Welcome back to our English learning journey. Today, we're going to tackle something super important: how to think in English. If you've ever felt frustrated because you have to translate everything in your head before speaking, this lesson is exactly what you need. You know that annoying moment when you want to say something, but first you have to translate it from your native language? It slows you down, makes you feel less confident, and often leads to mistakes. But here's the good news: you can learn to think directly in English, and I'm going to show you how to do it in 4 simple stages. Let's start with stage 1, thinking in verbs. Verbs are action words, and they're everywhere around us. Think about it: when you're walking through New York City, what do you see? People are running, others are talking, dogs are chasing balls, and someone's feeding pigeons. These are all verbs: run, talk, chase, feed. You can practice this anywhere. If you're at a bus stop in London, waiting at a traffic light, or sitting in a cafe in Paris, there are always actions happening around you. Even when you're at home, you can practice. Look at a family photo. What are people doing? Maybe they're eating, playing, or relaxing. In your kitchen, you might be cooking, cleaning, or washing dishes. Try spending just 5 to 10 minutes each day focusing on the actions around you. Think about them in English, and you'll be surprised how quickly it becomes natural. Moving on to stage 2, thinking in nouns. Nouns are everywhere too. They're the names of things, people, and places around you. Let's say you're in Sydney, standing near the Opera House. What do you see? The building, the harbor, tourists, boats, seagulls. These are all nouns. Or maybe you're at a market in Delhi. You see fruits, vegetables, spices, and vendors. Even in your room, look around. There's a table, a chair, a book, a laptop. Check what's in your bag: probably a phone, some keys, a wallet. Practice naming these things in English. Now for stage 3, thinking in sentences. This is where it gets fun because we're putting verbs and nouns together. Start simple. If you're in a park in Toronto, you might think, a family is having a picnic. The children are playing with a ball. Birds are flying in the sky. These aren't complicated sentences, but they're helping your brain think in English. When you're comfortable, you can make longer sentences. Like if you're in Berlin, a group of tourists is taking pictures of the monument while their guide explains its history. Finally, we reach stage 4, thinking in paragraphs. This is where everything comes together. Instead of just single sentences, you're now telling a whole story or describing an entire scene. Imagine you're at the Great Wall of China. You might think, I'm standing on the Great Wall, and the view is incredible. The mountains stretch out as far as I can see, and the wall winds its way across the landscape. There are tourists all around me taking pictures and walking along the wall. I can hear people speaking different languages, and there's a cool breeze blowing through the air. Here's another example. Picture yourself in a busy market in Istanbul. You could think, the market is filled with people busy shopping and bargaining with vendors. I can smell the spices in the air, and the bright colors of the rugs catch my eye. A man is selling tea from a cart, and tourists are taking photos. The sound of people talking and laughing fills the air. Want to practice? Here are some easy ways to start. First, spend 10 to 15 minutes each day just observing what's around you and describing it in English. Look at pictures in magazines or your photos and describe what you see. Write a short journal entry at the end of each day about what you did. Talk to yourself in English when nobody's around. Set yourself little challenges like thinking only in English for 5 minutes at a time. Remember, learning to think in English takes time and practice. Don't worry about making mistakes, they're part of learning. The key is to practice a little bit every day. Even just a few minutes of practice will help you improve. Soon, you'll find yourself thinking in English naturally, without having to translate everything in your head first. Before I wrap up, here's a quick example of how you might describe your day. Today was busy. I woke up early and went for a walk in the park. The weather was nice, and I saw lots of people exercising. After that, I had breakfast at a small cafe, a cappuccino and a croissant. Later, I went to work and had a meeting with my team. We discussed our new project, and everyone had great ideas. In the evening, I met a friend for dinner at a restaurant. We had a great time catching up. That's all for today's lesson. Remember, the key to thinking in English is practice, practice, practice. Start with verbs, move on to nouns, then sentences, and finally paragraphs. Be patient with yourself, and keep practicing every day. Soon enough, you'll be thinking and speaking in English as naturally as in your native language. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson.